Hello there. We are going to talk about future real conditionals, also known as future real conditionals. So usually what I do is I teach you the rules. But instead of doing that, I'm going to ask you to do something else, something a little bit different. Instead, I want you to use your brains. And instead of just me telling you what the rules are, I'm going to ask you to think about what the rules are. So, things like critical thinking, analyzing, and problem solving, these skills will help you when you are taking the test. So, let's look at these examples. If I have trouble falling asleep, I read my grammar notes. If you go, I'll go with you. When it is cloudy, you should bring an umbrella with you. When I wake up tomorrow, I'm going to make coffee first. So, in order to figure out the rules, start with what you know. Remember, you're trying to figure out what are the rules for future real conditionals. In order to do that, you have to start with present real conditionals. What do you remember about present real conditionals? The second thing you need to do is identify smaller pieces. So use your zoom lens. Think about verb tenses. Think about if clauses and result clauses. And finally, you're going to find patterns. Patterns that are repeated items between the sentences. So you're going to start comparing things that you find amongst the sentences. In that case, you're going to be using what we call your wide angle lens. So hopefully you did the reading left brain, right brain. You know what I'm talking about when I say zoom lens and wide angle lens. So let's do that. Let's start with what we know. So number 1 says, if I have trouble sleeping, I read my grammar notes, or trouble falling asleep. So we have our if clause, and then we've got our verb, and we've got our verb have, and the verb tense for have is simple present. So here's our entire if clause. Now let's look at our result clause. Our result clause, we have, there's our comma, that means this is our result clause, and our verb is read, and that is also simple present. Let's go to number 2. So we have if, here's our if clause, if you go, I've got my verb, that's simple present. Then here's my comma, so here's my result clause, I'll go with you. Now here we have a future verb tense. Let's go on to number 3. When it's cloudy, you should bring an umbrella. This is an umbrella. I just didn't have space. So let's look. We have when equals if. We have simple present here. And then we've got a modal plus base verb. And this modal is expressing advice. So let's continue. When I wake up tomorrow, I'm going to make coffee. So again, we've got when. This is our if clause. We've got our verb, simple present. And then we've got our comma. Our comma here. And then we have be going to make. So again, we've got another future verb tense here. So let's start by comparing the things that we already know. So number one, if I have trouble sleeping, I read my notes. Here we have simple present plus simple present. That means we have a present real conditional. If you go simple present plus future, we don't know yet. This must be a future real conditional. We're not sure, but we're going to check. When it's cloudy, you should bring an umbrella. So we've got simple present, and we've got our modal. This looks like it is a present real conditional. And then let's look at the last one. When I wake up tomorrow, I'm going to make coffee. So we've got simple present one more time, and then we've got future. So our if clause here has simple present, and our result clause has future. So if you notice, these two right here are the same, and these two are the same. So we can make a guess for future real conditionals. We can guess that the if clause is also simple present, and the result clause uses future. So let's put that into a chart. Let's again start with what we know. Present real conditionals. If clause, we have two choices. Simple present and or present progressive. Our result clause, we've got three choices. We can also use simple present. We can use modals, and we can use the imperative. Okay, so the two examples that we saw for present real conditionals were simple present and simple present and simple present and modals. So let's make a guess about future real conditionals. We saw that both of them, if you take a look, both of them use simple present in the if clause. So we're going to write simple present in the if clause. And the result clause, we saw will. We also saw be going to, and I'm going to tell you a little secret. You can use future modals. Modals that express future possibilities such as may, might, and could. Okay. The modals that you're going to use in present real conditionals should only express present ideas. Okay. So just as a reminder, we have when, which is used for habits. We have even if, which is used for surprising results. And then we've also got then, which is used to emphasize results. Oopsies. To emphasize results. Okay. So one more thing about using when plus future real conditionals. Let's look at these two examples. If I go to Vegas, I'm going to have fun. When I go to Vegas, I'm going to have fun. Now, here is the difference between both of these. When I use if in this sentence, what it means is that maybe I will go. I have no current plans to go to Vegas. But maybe in the future I will go. Okay. If I choose to use when, it's not a habit. Instead, it means I have made plans to go to Vegas. It is certain that I am going to Vegas. Okay. So sometimes something to remember, when has two meanings. Sometimes when can express habits. Sometimes when can express certainty of an event. Okay. Let's look at a few more examples. Let's look at these sentences and let's decide which of these are habits and which of these are expressing certainty. I've only included the if clause because the result clause is somewhat irrelevant in this case. We don't need the result clause all the time to figure out if this is a habit or if it is an event of certainty. So let's look at the first one. When I visit my brother this Thanksgiving, this sentence is expressing a certainty of an event. The event has not happened yet, but I am certain it's going to happen. Let's look at this next one. When I drink coffee. Well, drinking coffee is often considered a habit, so we're going to say that this sentence reflects habit. Drinking coffee, drinking tea is habitual action. When I go to work tonight, well, we have tonight as an indicator that this has not happened yet, so we're going to say that this is certainty of event. I expect to be at work tonight. Okay. When I go to the grocery store, now going to the grocery store is probably a habitual action, so I'm going to say that this is a habit. And finally, when I feel sleepy, it doesn't say when. Okay. If it says when I feel sleepy tonight, then that would be a certainty of event. I know I'm going to feel sleepy because I ran 12 miles and now I know that later I'm going to feel sleepy. But if it doesn't say tonight, then we have to choose habit. because it's common that people feel sleepy at the end of the day. Every day we wake up, we go to work, we do what we need to do, and then we come home, we eat dinner, and then we feel sleepy. And feeling sleepy happens every day. So we would refer to that feeling, as a habitual action. Okay, so a note about when. It can be used for two meanings: a habitual action or certainty of event.